Welcome to Jönköping University and the Department of Lighting Design. Here we try to learn new lighting designers, how they can come out to a brand new market and be even better than the generation before. They learn how to plan, see, analyze, install and do lighting design for the benefit of mankind, and hopefully to do this even better than the generation before. Because all around the world we can see how man always celebrate light in big festivals and gatherings. The natural light is what gives us the life that we have. It's in the darkness that we rest and sleep, and in the light that we get the energy and the opportunity to see more. And different light with different energy give us so much differences. I mean, we can see the white light shatter up into small water drops and give us all these colors. We call it a rainbow. But the reflection of light we can see in many ways. For example, under a bridge, when the sun reflects in the water, we can see this effect of glimmer, and it's so much energy that given to us by the natural light. We take inspiration from the natural light and try to do it artificial into new ways. We almost frame the world into different shape that we like and can handle as humans. But it's always nature that gives us the answer of what is good for us. Both the natural light and the natural darkness has its benefits for us. And different light with different light level give us different amount of energy, and it's all about energy actually. I mean, we use this energy to illuminate our world. For example, a ski slope when we're going down, so we can see where we perfectly land our skis when we do this drop. Or when we drive our car through the city, we want road lighting for safety, and we illuminate inside of the car for our both ergonomic and for the beauty of it. Artificial lighting helps us see the room, the texture, give us different emotion, feelings, and we use it so we can see the world around us. Nowadays 24/7 society. The different energy level give us the opportunity to control even some of our hormones, our way of thinking about safety, the way we see beauty in these different rooms actually. So different light, different shadows, different color, different contrast, all this together give us different values and different light of what we're going to use. So it's important we understand both the darkness and the light and what kind of energy it gives us as human, so we together can give us better world and better society. The natural light varies quite a lot during a day. In the middle of the night we have the darkness, and then we have the rising sun coming around us and wakes the world up. We can hear the birds start singing, and we ourselves get more energy. This is due to many effects of the light, both that we have more energy coming from the sun the more it rises, but also the quality of light is very important. The problem can be that the light varies quite a lot during the year. I mean, in the summer we have bright days, but in the winter we have these big differences between light and darkness. If we look to a time lapse, we can see these sites vary quite a lot. This is the same place during an autumn and the middle of the summer. Even at 3 o'clock we see how the sun start to come up at the summertime, but in the autumn it's a gloomy grayish light almost all the time, not giving us much energy. So, shall we start looking at some figures when we start to measure light? What is the actual light that we get to us? Let's take a look at an ordinary office. As we see here, we have a small spectrometer that can measure how much light that falls onto the table. And we do this both with just daylight and with artificial light. If we look to how the wavelengths are divided, we here see the daylight distribution of the light. It's only 30 lux, but a broad spectrum. And when we turn the artificial light on, we see a totally other spectrum appears. But on the other hand, we have 330 lux now at the same point on the table. If we put these two measurements side by side, it looks almost like the artificial light distribution is worse than daylight. But you have to remember this is relative scales. So we have much more energy in the artificial light. You can say that we have the daylight and the artificial in the same curve. So we both have the broad spectrum, and on top of that we have some spikes in different wavelengths. So what does that even mean when it comes to good lighting for our office? This is a hard thing when it's come to measure light. You have to look at a number of aspects to really get the full picture. And here we have another similar situation. This is a home office. It belongs actually to my wife, Sofia. She's sitting here doing her work. Sometimes it's day and she works in this environment. Sometimes it's early morning and she just go to work. Not in her most fancy dress, but this is how it looks then. So when we look at the spectral distribution in comparison between the morning and midday, we see a huge difference, where of course we have in the midday, with a lot of daylight coming in from the window, a broad spectrum. We can see the CCT, the CRI and illuminance also is here to see. The illuminance on the morning is just over 20 lux, and in midday on the same point of measurement on the table we have over 150 lux. I won't go so much into CRI index because then I just get mad, and this is a whole nother discussion, so we won't take that. Let's stick to illuminance and spectral distribution this time and talk about that. So let's have something to compare with. Just yesterday it was sun outside. Yeah, can you believe it? So I took my spectrometer, I went outside and placed it on a sunny side by the river of Huskvarna. And here you can see the comparison when I took a measurement from the sun, and if you see to the left I have some shadowy part where I move the spectrometer and take some new measurement there. Huge difference, of course, because we get some heat out of the way, and we have different distribution of the direct sunlight and the shadow. Cloudy day is different and so on, and you can see the amount of energy, the difference between shadow and sunny part. And this is in the late autumn, now in November. So in the summer it's even bigger. As you can see, the sun is just 28,000 lux. It can be much more a sunny day, and even winter time we get even more if it's snowy and so on. So it's huge amount of energy that we get from the outdoor instead of indoor environment.
So, shall we try to summarize this into something? Now I'm outdoor here in front of Jönköping University, the engineering school, and it's a gloomy day, almost a little rain in the air, quite cloudy. It's 1 o'clock, and we have approximately 1300 lux when I'm standing here. all day and all night we move through different light levels, we move through different distribution of the spectrum. And when I'm start to work my way to an indoor environment here instead, we're gonna see how it shifts. Now when I'm standing close to the building, I'm down to 800 lux. And as I move indoor into this entrance that actually has a glass ceiling, so we get quite a lot of daylight even here, I start to come down to 100 lux. And now I'm standing here in almost this atrium. You see the glass over me, so I can have the daylight coming in at 400 lux, and almost the same distribution of the energies that I get, but much lower. I walk through the corridors, I go down to 200, 100 lux. We changed the spectral distribution because now it's fluorescent light, and I come into one of our laboratory here that the student can use to build up environments. Here we can actually change the light to different both levels, and if we want to have it more warm light, or we want to have it cool light, and so on. So it's a room that offers a lot of opportunity to actually see what's happening, and we can even shift the light if we want to go to another scenario where we have another distribution. Now you see a lot of light on the walls, and we can go take away the light in the ceiling and only have the walls lit around us. Anyhow, it's not only that we can look into the light level. Now when I'm standing here in this room, I have 90 lux, and the light distribution is quite nice. A lot of light on the walls, a little bit on the ceilings. I can move around and see my face in different kind of lights, in better and worse. But it's not that easy just to see to the light levels, or see to the spectral distribution, or see to the luminance, the illuminance, and all these different values must come to a whole if we want to understand them. For example, if I look to these wall art that we have here, two pieces of forest that are illuminated from the backside, it's almost like we're looking through a window. It actually sends signal to my brain that it's a day outside, we have some sun, a lot of green, it's a spring. And if I am in this environment, although it's artificial, it's actually gonna boost some good hormones, and it's gonna help me with the short-term memory a little bit more than if I just were looking at these kind of art. I mean, it's the same light in the room here, just another piece of art. Gray pictures, quite nice. I mean, it's Da Vinci's idea of a wing here. But it's not only about the light, it's also about what the brain starts to think about when it hits by the different energy levels. So it's not only, again, how much light we get. It's not only what kind of light we get. It's not only about the surface colors around us. It's about the whole thing. So what I'm trying to say is, just because you get a good measurement and are correct with it, it's not that easy to say what a light is going to do with you. We move through different light all the time, and we're exposed to different energy level. So you must be quite thorough to understand what the light actually do to you and what you want to achieve with it. We also need the darkness, because it's in the darkness that we rest, that we sleep, and it's there we can find a lot of positive things, so we get more energy next day when we want to thrill even further. So this was the start of everything for me today. Just a quick reminder of that when we're measuring light, we only measure a small part of everything we do. And it must come together with more knowledge about the whole project and the surrounding that we live in, work in, and everything around it. So in this one of our study room for our student at the university, I want to thank you for this time and hand over to my associate for the rest of the day. Thank you for listening.